Right, let's go for the eights now. The men's eights. Adam, I'm going to come to you first with this one.
Well, Germany has really fallen off form since the last World Championships, and I think after watching them, there was a lot of there is, just thought it was theirs to lose, but now I don't know what's happening in their camp, and all it takes is one or two athletes who've come off form in the eight to really make the boat feel sluggish. In a small boat, one person can lift the boat, but in the eight, it's the one person who makes it fall all apart, and that's the. Yeah, so I really like the Dutch. I like the way they row. They're long, they're strong. But I also got to give a lot of we haven't seen a whole lot of racing out there, but we certainly have not seen the Aussies. We've not seen the Americans either. And the Americans will be slamming, jamming, and they can do zero racing and show up and win the whole thing. We've seen it happen before. They've got a great culture of eights racing. It is the boat for the American camp. You could win gold in every single thing and lose the eight, and the Americans would be like, oh, well, we didn't have a very good regatta. So there's a lot of cultural push for the eight, from the American camp, but I don't know. I haven't heard much information from that. And the New Zealand, I'm quietly rooting for them after having seen the performance in the qualifying regatta. So curious to see what you think, Camilla.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about the Kiwis?
Can I just say that Adam hasn't mentioned the British crew yet, and you said, "What about the Kiwis?" rather than what I thought you were going to say. What about the Brits, Camilla?
Let him talk about everyone but the Brits. We can cover that. That's fine.
Well, I don't know much about the British camp. Other than they got bronze, and and they're looking relatively on form, but it's they're not. The eight isn't the priority boat. It's the four.
No.
I'd argue not really. And
really?
Martin, you can tell me I'm absolutely talking rubbish here, but those four guys in that men's four are not our top four athletes. Weren't our top four athletes before Linz, and they have just stuck in that combination and ground it out to be a four that is unbreakable now. And actually our top guys, so like your Mo's, they're all in the eight. All of our big, strong, trial winning guys are all in that men's eight, right?
Yeah. The four, they can't find a faster four than, because actually we've just predicted them for gold medals. So there obviously isn't a faster four than that. But the top athletes are in the eight for Britain. Steve Trackmore coaching them, the Olympic gold medalist in the eight.
They had a good, they showed up really well, the Brits, and Lucerne. That's, they were really thumping it out. It was super tight across the line with the Germans and the Brits.
I think what is really interesting with the men's eights is that both crews if we're just going to talk about the Brits and the Germans, which has been that ding dong throughout the season, if we just look at those two crews, both crews have had to race with substitutes on board at least one point, if not twice, three times. I think the Germans have not raced as a full combination since the Europeans because they've always had a sub on board. They had a sub on board in Spaudia. They had a sub on board at World Cup 2 in Lucerne. And so we've actually not seen the Germans at full strength without that substitute for quite some time. And again, the Brits had a substitute on board in Lucerne as well, in that they brought Morgan Boulding in for Ollie Wynne-Griffith, and Ollie Wynne-Griffith, arguably one of the strongest guys in that eight, right in the middle of that crew. And the fact that the Brits can still beat out the Germans, despite the fact they both have subs on board, I think is a really good demonstration of strength.
So So what do you reckon? The Brits won the Europeans and beat the Romanians by, not much. And then the New Zealanders beat the Romanians by what, half, 2/3 of a length in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two-thirds of a length, wasn't it? I think.
And that to actually come, they couldn't have been in Europe that long. I don't know how, in terms of acclimatization and so on, but the whole thing with traveling with COVID, for that 8 to come and then just go, bosh, we do the Romanians like that. That's phenomenally impressive. I'm with Adam about the States as well. I think that, there's good vibes coming out from the West Coast of America about that 8. We haven't mentioned the Aussies, who did get the silver medal in 2018. They were off the pace in 2019. This event is going to be, I think it's going to be one of the greatest Olympic 8s finals ever. I think there's just going to be so tight, the margins between them. I don't think it's going to be like 2016 where the British dominated. I think we're probably going to get a race a bit like, 2012, where there isn't one crew that leads out. I think Germany will lead at some point in this race. I think Germany will probably lead going through the 1,000 meters, if not the 500. Not sure. They've probably got what it takes to lead through the 1,500, but I'm not sure they've got what it takes to stay in the final sprint.
Well, I know Tatey and the Americans, and they'll be going to get out front and stay out front.
Yeah.
The Dutch will start off slow and speed up to the finish, or not put on anything extra, but not take anything off, which would probably be a better descriptor.
And I'd say the Brits probably a similar mantra, right? Like they probably won't be leading by much, but they do have a great sort of middle section where they tend to move. So
I feel a tension about this prediction, actually. The biggest tension about this prediction, more so than almost anyone. So does someone want to go first in terms of predicting gold, silver? You don't.
No,
so
not
do
me.
you want to go first, Adam?
I'm going to say USA, Australia, Britain.
Oh,
yeah, because I know nothing, right? We know nothing, so I'm going to really do this. And again, we haven't seen anything out of Australia for a while. Haven't seen anything out of US. So they're wild cards. And I agree with you that it's going to be tight. So I'm just talking out of my two cheeks.
I think the medalists are going to be New Zealand, Britain, and Germany. I'm going to say Germany, Britain, New Zealand for the medalists. I think Germany will just have it there, even though they haven't got those sub 540 ergo pullers in the middle of the 8. But I kind of feel, oh my God, what have I said? But it's going to be one of the greatest Olympic finals ever. I think we can say that. I'm going to have to listen through to what we've said and write all our predictions down on a kind of sweepstake and see how
I think
we
I missed
actually
my
do.
men's 8s predictions, Martin. You skipped because I was so scared of making them. I never
Did
actually
you not
got
make
to
them?
No, I just avoided it.
Go on, make it then. Go on.
I am going to say. What am I going to say? What am I going to say?
That's it.
No one predicted the Brits, did they, to win?
No.
I feel like I kind of have to edge that, considering they've been beating Germany the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the Brits to win because nobody else has. I'm then going to put the US ahead of. Now it's whether I go for the Germans or what I do here.
The New Zealanders.
The New Zealanders, yeah. I think I'm going to go Germans off the podium. I'm going to go for the Kiwis in bronze.
Oh,
that would be a real.
That's very brave. That would be a real turn up.
Yeah.